Dave Sim Conversations. This is a very brief review of the book Dave Sim Conversations, a book of collected interviews with Dave Sim. Sim is principally known for having produced 300 issues of Cerebus, which is a self-produced comic. I've previously explained in another video why, in my view, it is hate literature. But I think it's worth commenting on because it does get attention. As you can see, an entire book of his interviews has been published. And the only value of this book, in my view, is that it further exposes Sim for what he is. His view of women is, in my opinion, misogynistic. Here you can read why he believes that feminism is essentially an evil of society. His view, in a nutshell, is that women suck up the light of men. And he views women as emotional and irrational and men as rational. The great irony is that his argument is completely irrational. One example is that he further extrapolates his argument against feminism to the civil rights movement. What this does is show Sim as being, in my view, a racist. Sim believes that men and women should be separate if a man wants to achieve his greatest potential, because otherwise women will suck up the light of men. He notes here that the black neighbors are people who justifiably can be complained about. In other words, he equates black people with women, the civil rights movement with feminism. So by rational extrapolation, he believes that black people should be separated from white people, just as he believes that women should be separate from men, assuming one wants to achieve one's greatest potential. In my view, that is not only misogynistic, but racist. Now, Sim has often said that people never review his arguments in a rational manner, that they put in subjective interpretations, and so they aren't able to appreciate the greatness and profundity of his arguments. Yet I note in this interview that Sim states that he is and has been diagnosed as a borderline schizophrenic. One of the best pieces of advice I ever received was never argue with someone who's drunk or crazy. It's just not going to get you anywhere. There's no possibility of having a rational conversation. Now, if Sim is schizophrenic, what that means is his brain is not wired correctly. Having full sympathy for the mentally ill, the fact is someone who is schizophrenic is not capable of rational thought by definition. In fact, he explains that the borderline schizophrenic label means that he cannot separate fantasy from reality. So one can have compassion for Dave Sim, knowing that he's a schizophrenic, but I think it's also needs to be underscored that his philosophies are dangerous. It's dangerous to have someone promote racism and misogyny, especially when they're getting a lot of promotional support from an industry, in this case the comic book industry, putting out an entire collection of his interviews. And when you see articles about him, they refer to the fact that he put out these 300 issues of the Cerebus. He has a website, a YouTube channel. People follow him and listen to him. And what I would caution is that if one reads the interviews, one can see that his thoughts not only are completely irrational, but misogynistic, racist, and therefore hate literature. Dave Sim, Conversations.